Hello, my name is Carl Surrey, and this is a video tutorial for the Facebook group called Fans of Serif Software. Now, one of the group members, Naomi Welsh, asked about putting sort of cloud writings in the sky, or using clouds to write into the sky. And Eric Rush did leave some messages for her, telling her how to do this. But it did end up being some sort of confusion over whether she meant using like cloud images to paint into the sky or whether she just wanted a white font in the sky. So I will try and cover both ways, and then Naomi can pick whichever way she wants. Now, the first one I'm going to do is just use a font or text, and what I need to do is first of all make the foreground color white, and then click on the T for the text tool, and then just drag it out the cursor, which is the sign of an A, to a size that you want. Now the default font is always Times New Roman, and from this drop down menu you can pick any font you want, and as Eric suggested, possibly one that is looks more like handwriting rather than a normal font might be a good choice. Because it's not so, for want of a better phrase, not too so uniform as a like Times Roman, and it's just a case of finding one that will look good. Oh, this dragline BT is not quite so uniform, so if I just put Naomi like that, and you can press return. Let's hope I spelled this right. Right, and because I made foreground color white, it has done the typeface in white, and it has automatically placed that on a new layer. So as like Eric said in his notes, if you come to the deform tool, you can now stretch and move this around the sky. So if you hold down the control key, for example, you can move individual corners or even the middle ones, and you can even use the move tool to move it around the sky. And then just sort of place it wherever you want, and then when you're happy with that, then you can merge your layers together and save. Now, I don't think that was quite what Naomi wanted, so what I will do is I will delete that. Now, what I will do now is I will be using the brush tool, and I will need to make a layer myself, because unlike the text layer, which automatically makes its own layer, the brush tool won't. I'm going to put this on another layer because it's easier to move around when you've done, and you can also easier, I think, to deform it when you've done. So I'll just press on the add layer button down there, click OK there, and then I have the blank layer. So again, we have white as our foreground color, but what I want is a color that is nearer to the clouds. So I'm going to come to this color picker tool, and as you can see from this little pop out, it says that click to define a foreground color. So this is what I want to do, and as you move it around the screen, it will tell you what the color is. So what I want to do is find not the brightest white, but not a very dark white either, grey. Looking for quite a nice white colour. That one will do. And as you can see, that is now the foreground colour. It's not pure white, so hopefully it will blend in better with the sky. So I'm going to come down to the paintbrush tool, and then over here on the right you have the brush tips. If you click on that tab, underneath that tab you've got this drop down menu that by default is on basic. If you come down to effects, clouds, you have all these various cloud effects. Now I think when I did this trial earlier I used number 47. So if I just click on the sky now, it's not that brilliant, because it's the spacing is not set at a very good level. So what I'll do is I'll undo all of those that I've done there, and in this box between brush and size, if I click on that, we get the brush options. So I'll take the tick out of the word colour, because then hopefully it will then take on the colour of the foreground colour that I've already preset. And on shape, what I'm going to do is alter the spacing so they don't, the little puffs of cloud puffs aren't so close together. I can't alter the hardness because it's already on a very soft setting and they've blocked that off. You could tinker with other settings, but I'm just going to go back and see how this looks. And as you can see, I might probably do with a bigger brush size. Where's the brush? There we go, brush size. I'll just increase the brush size a bit. And then it's just a case of, so you could just keep the button down and then just type the letter, or not type it, but draw the letter that you want. It's not easy to do this. There we go. So obviously it depends on how let's open the options again, and I'll lower that spacing down a bit because it's probably just a little bit too far apart. Let's try it on 40 and then see if we're going to type up here. I'll type it up here, and then I'll just put serif. So I think the spacing of 40 in this, on that particular brush anyway, is probably a bit better than where I first had it set for when I wrote Naomi's name. So hopefully that is what Naomi is after. You could probably try a different brush tip and the different spacings, but that would be what I think that she was after. So when you come to the brush options, take the tick out of the word colour, so it will select the foreground colour that you've selected from one of the clouds, and then alter the spacing and the brush size according to how much space you have to write whatever it is you want to write in the sky. Okay, so what I will just do now is I will just undo these steps so that the word serif has gone from the top, and I will go back and, like in the previous attempt when I typed it in, we can use the deform tool to move how this looks in the sky so it's not so uniform again, and you can use the move tool itself just to move things around. So that is it really. You can tinker to a certain degree with how the image looks and where it is in the sky. And I hope that is everything that Naomi was looking for. And thank you, Eric, for pointing me in the right direction on how to do it. And so thank you and goodbye.